welcome to another crafty video. Today's one is another one of my Magazine Freebie videos. This one is using Simply Cards and Papercraft Issue 266, and I'm actually in this issue again. I've got a Masterclass in here using embossing folders. I think it was a Masterclass. It might have just been a feature actually, I can't remember. But using embossing folders for different kind of techniques and, you know, showing you how you can make more masculine feeling cards as well. I must say I struggled with this freebie because it's not really my usual style. I did used to make a lot of cards like this when I first started out card making, so, you know, like 15 years ago maybe. I used to always get those ultimate sets from Paper Mania and Do Crafts, and they had like tons of different topper sheets and things. I had a tattered teddy one once, and I think I almost finished that entire one, making all the different cards, using all the different toppers and the pattern papers and things as well. But I do like making cards like this. I just don't do it very often anymore. So it was a little bit more of a struggle to kind of think of ways of making it more my style now. I was going to kind of show you how you could maybe like mattify some of these toppers, because they're like glossy. You get them on the glossy cardstock, which isn't always everybody's taste, but instead of doing that, I decided to trim the borders off of them, fussy cut into them a little bit more, and then use glitter to accent them instead. So hopefully that's a nice way of kind of showing you how you can spruce up toppers and things, make them look a little bit different, so you know, it's looking different than if someone else had this set and made a card from it. It'll look completely different if you snipped into it a little bit differently and, you know, made some sparkly differences to it as well. So the 5 cards that I created in this video, I was going to do 6 to begin with, but then I ended up not liking the topper of one of them. It was just too big on the card and I couldn't get it to work nicely. So I ended up with 5. I think this one is my favourite, and my mum was already trying to pinch it because she was here when I was filming this video. But I've got one of the gorgeous background papers in the background. I actually used this background on 2 cards because I loved it so much, that paper. It's just beautiful, like sketchy kind of leafy designs on there. And then I layered up, this is 2 different toppers of these beautiful, almost like cherry blossom kind of flowers. This was a separate piece as well, this Hello Spring, and then the blue tit was a separate element as well, and I've sort of layered them all up together, and then I've glittered them as well. So glitter in the centres of the flowers and also on these little buds here and around the border, Hello Spring as well. And the glitter that I was using, my lovely friend Lourdes very kindly sent this to me about a year ago I think, and this is the first time I've gotten around to actually giving it a go, but I've been admiring this bottle on my shelf since then. It's the Tim Holtz Rock Candy, and this was the limited edition bottle that they brought out. It looks so cool, and it kind of has like a milk bottle sort of feel to it, an old sort of glass milk bottle. It is actually plastic, but it's very sturdy, feels like glass, and it's got a gorgeous like vintage label on it, and it's really gorgeous glitter, this as well. It says it's vintage inspired, and it's really lovely. I don't think I have anything else in my stash that gives that same kind of feel. It's like, it's not really sparkly, it's like frosted. It gives like a frosty kind of effect. It's really, really beautiful. So if you haven't tried that rock candy glitter, it's really lovely, and thank you so much Lourdes for sending it to me. Sorry it's taken me so long to have a play with it, but I absolutely love what it did to these cards and how it kind of like upscaled them, made them look more advanced, I suppose, rather than being just sort of beginner toppers and papers. It kind of gave it more of an advanced kind of feel to it, but I really love how these turned out. So that was the first one. Then this one's really, really simple. It was just taking one of the square toppers from one of the sheets and using the patterned paper in the background, and then I just did the glitter around the edge, and I did also do a glitter heart on the chest of the blue tit as well. So that's that one. This one, I think I did chop into this a little bit to make the border a little bit more even around it. And this Hello Spring, which I used on another card, was it just that other one as well? Yeah, that card too. This was actually a border strip, and it had 3 Hello Springs on it, and I just cut them into pieces that I could use for my cards. But I loved the colouring of this little robin here, and I combined it with it's kind of a busy background paper, but that video I did recently with the Harvest Cascade collection from Tonic, where I picked the same topper to match the paper, I really liked how those cards turned out, and so I was kind of keeping with that same sort of theme of picking the background paper to match the topper for some of these cards, like I did the blue tip paper to match the blue tip on that one. So I really liked that kind of style. And again, I glittered, so I just added a little bit of glitter to the base of some of these leaves, onto the little berries here as well, and then round the sentiment again too, and it just really elevates it. I really like that little touch of glitter. This one, another really simple one, literally just taking one of the toppers. I don't think this was a proper topper. I think this was maybe on one of the sheets. I'll do a quick flick through what's left of this as well to show you what's in there. I think it was a quarter of a sheet, but any of the ones that had a border on, you see here like this thank you one, they've given you a border. I feel like that, for me, it kind of ages it. In my history of card making, this makes me think of something that I would have used all those years ago, whereas I want to always feel like, I don't know, you're kind of modernising, or I don't know what it is. It's just something about it makes me feel like it's aged within my history of card making. Probably not for you, but for me that kind of feels like it's aging it, because it's something I would have used years ago. So I always feel like chopping the shape down, you know, because this feels like a really old Spellbinders label shape or something that I might not use these days. I kind of like squares and rectangles, circles and ovals and things. So I feel like chopping the border off or chopping it down gives it more of a modern, in my time of card making, you know, my timeline of card making. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, if you ever feel like that with some of the products that you use, but that's always how I kind of look at it. I sort of think of my history of card making and, you know, where things kind of fall in it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but anyway, back to the card. I think this was like a quarter piece, and it might have had a border around it, and I chopped the border off. That's what I was basically trying to tell you. And then I also glittered this one too. So I've done glitter all the way around the edge. You can actually see here where it's gone over the colours. That glitter just gives it such a cool effect. You could have even glittered the entire panel and it would have given it like a frosted, almost velvet kind of look. Really like that glitter, it's really cool. And I just did a few dots on the flowers as well as around the border. So another really simple card, and then this one was really simple too. This one definitely did have a border around its topper, and I chopped it off and then decided it did need a border on it. So I used a pattern paper to put a border back around it. And this one actually has this same bird here, but in small form as part of the topper, but you had this as a die cut. So I thought, well, I might as well use it, add it over the top, and it gives a different feel to it because the main sort of element is coming out of the small little topper. I thought it gave a different kind of feel. And then again, I have glittered, so I've gone around the edges and then little dots on the flowers as well. So that was the 5th card. Then I'll give you a quick flick through what's left in here. So this is where that Hello Spring banner came from. I snipped off the sort of scrolly portions of it and just used it as it was. I didn't use all of these pieces. That one is gorgeous as well though. But again, this felt like old in my timeline of crafting. I feel like maybe if I cut the birthday wishes out, used it as a semicircle piece and did something else across the centre, or just put a different sentiment across the centre, it would modernise it within my timeline of crafting. I really don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but that's kind of how I think about it. This had more of the like die cut pieces on here. This was one of the floral pieces that I combined with that blue tip there as well, and I think this was the other floral piece that I combined with it too. This was that bird on that last card that I just showed you. This was that gorgeous softly coloured robin here. This one I didn't end up using, it's in here somewhere. I felt like it was too big for what I was trying to do on the cards. You'll see it in the video, but I didn't end up using it. This is where one of those borders was, the border that had the sentiment on there. It was part of this sheet here. You've got all of these other different sentiments in here too. This, oh yeah, this was the one. So this one looked like this. It had the inverted like clipped sort of corners to it, and I really trimmed it down to get rid of those clipped corner pieces, but then I added a square piece back behind it again in the end. And then, oh yeah, this must have been where the two blue tip ones came from. So this one I think was possibly in that corner, unless that was the one that I cut down. Maybe that was the one that I cut down actually. It might have been that one, and then this one was possibly in this corner, and this one was in that corner because I can see a bit of the green there. So that's where those all came from. And then I'll quickly give you a flick through the papers in case you're interested in getting hold of this magazine with the freebie. That was that topper that I didn't end up using. And then here are my leftovers from the papers and all of the other papers that are in here as well. There's some really gorgeous ones with like skeleton leaf kind of designs in here too. Again, same bit different of some of the papers that I had already used as well. Some, like, this is really gorgeous. This reminds me of like a wallpaper or something. You've got more striking bold designs with stripes and florals, that gorgeous. I used a little bit of that. That's what I mounted that little topper onto. Cherry blossoms with the flowers, that gorgeous blue tit one. Some more modern kind of leaves, tiny ditzy kind of ones with different birds. There's a robin, there's a blue tit. I'm not sure what these two are. Maybe some kind of wren or something as well. I think there's a great tit on there too. Again, that's sort of wallpapery sort of design. This is like watercolory, more like bold stripes and florals, different colour combinations of like foliage and things as well. And then we're just repeating all of those same ones again. But gorgeous pattern papers. It's a very nice selection to get with a magazine actually. Like, instead of just getting a stamp set or a die set or something, it's 32 patterned papers and they're 8x8 in size, 45 die cut toppers and 22 cut and craft sentiments. So you really can make a lot of cards out of this. If you're just looking for something to like to take away with you on a holiday or something, it would be quite a nice thing to take with you, with a bunch of different toppers and patterned papers and things that you could fussy cut into and really change them up to look really different to how they're intended to be used as well, which is what I always tend to like to do with things. So that is the freebie. And then this is the magazine. I'll give you a quick look at my masterclass in here as well. But there's always so many gorgeous projects within the magazines. This is Nikki. She's actually the editor of Creative Stamping, and she's done one of the features for using all of the gorgeous freebies in here as well. She's used them really nicely. They look gorgeous the way she's combined them all together. Yeah, so there's loads of inspiration in here for using your freebies, and then usually if you flick to the middle of the magazine you will find the masterclass. So I think it was a masterclass. Yes, it was. I couldn't remember if it was a masterclass or just a feature that I did, but it was all about using your embossing folders. So I did, this technique was on the debossed side, filling all of the spots in with Nuvo drops. This one, I think this was maybe watercolouring it, then embossing it, and then using a polish over the top. This one was embossing it and then heat embossing it, and then using a polish over the top to pick out the detail. This was using a clear wax on it and then ink blending over it so that the pattern kind of popped out a bit more. And then this was using like polishes and things, I think. I can't actually remember. It was quite a while ago that I did these, but all of, yeah, it is polishes. You can see it there. But all of the details of how I made all of the cards are all in here as well. Oh yeah, this was the advanced masterclass. I tried embossing funky foam and then stamping with it, and it gave a really cool effect. Very subtle, but a cool effect. I might do a video on that at some point as well. But yeah, if there's anything that you ever see that I have done in a masterclass in a magazine, and you want to see a video on it, do let me know, because I 100% forget what I have done in these masterclasses and things, because you know I do so many different things you know throughout each month that I totally forget what I've done, and especially when a masterclass you kind of work a few months in advance of the issue coming out as well. So if you ever see anything in a magazine that you want me to recreate from one of my masterclasses, then do let me know, because I'm happy to do that as well. So yeah, then you've also got just more inspiration with all sorts of different products and new releases, all sorts of different gorgeous things in here. And there's always offers on subscriptions as well. Yeah, this was the offer that I got. These were all the offers that I got to do these magazine freebie videos. I subscribed to get 5 issues of stamping, 6 issues of Simply Cards, and 5 issues of die cutting essentials. So maybe this sale is still on. Possibly not when you see this video, but yeah, so do look around for the offers like this, because you can often get magazines for like half the price that they normally would be. If this magazine is normally, is it normally £9.99? Not sure where the barcode is. Yeah, it's normally, oh no, £8.99. It's normally £8.99, but with this subscription, you're basically getting them for £5 each. You know, so it's worth getting a subscription sometimes. But as I said in a previous one, you don't always like the freebie or all of the freebie, or even with this magazine freebie as well. It's not my taste, but if you play around with things, you can turn them into cards that you really love. So, you know, don't always get put off by some kind of freebie that you get. Play around with it. See if you can make it your kind of style. Maybe you don't like some of the bolder papers. Brayer some paint over them, ink blend them into a different colour tone, heat emboss them, cut them into different pieces, turn them into flowers. You know, you can do all sorts of things with them. And it's quite nice when something was a freebie, you can just play with it and not feel like you've wasted like £5 or £10 for some kind of paper pad like this with toppers and things. You can just sort of play around with them. So yeah, do that. I think it's a really nice way of discovering different things as well. So I will pass you over, sorry this intro was a little bit long, but I was rabbiting on about loads of stuff, but I'll pass you over to Past Me, who's in sped up mode, showing you how I created all 5 of these cards. So thank you so much for watching, hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye!
you.